The beauty of Sanskrit language, once again, is such that the meaning of the word is contained within the sounds of the word itself. We have been looking at what tantra means. There is mantras, which are the sound, mananat trayate. There are yantras, which are the forms that correspond to the sounds. And tantra is a combination of mantra and yantra, where you use sound and form to unlock, to access a particular capability within our own being. This image boils down the essence of the shloka in a pictorial way. You see Shiva being benevolent and Shakti driving him from behind. We'll see how this is as we learn the meaning of the shloka and the words in it. Just keep this image in your minds. We'll come back to this image. And each of these shlokas, apart from the lyrical beauty and the meaning of the complex meaning of each of them, has a particular prayoga or usage. There is a siddhi or a benefit that corresponds to the usage, a sadhana, which is the practice, and naivedya, which is an offering that can be made, that needs to be made to get this siddhi. And there is a geometrical pattern, as I said, the yantra that corresponds with the shloka. So just to touch upon these aspects and to present them and to be aware of them and realize that there is something more profound apart from the already profound meanings, I present these. The siddhi for the 31st shloka is sarva vashikaranam, which is to take everything into one's control, everything that exists. Sadhana has to be done facing east for a period of 45 days for repeating the shloka 1000 times internally. And the naivedya string is called as a tantri. Chaturshashtya tantray sakalamati sandhaya bhuvanam sthitastat siddhi prasava paratantray pashupati punastvannirbandha dakhila purusharthaika ghatana swatantram te tantram kshititalamavati taradidam. Now to understand the meaning of Chaturshashtya tantray sakalamati sandhaya bhuvanam sthitastat siddhi prasava paratantray pashupati punastvannirbandha dakhila purusharthaika ghatana swatantram te tantram kshititalamavati taradidam. Chaturshashtya tantray sakalamati sandhaya bhuvanam sthitastat siddhi prasava paratantray pashupati punastvannirbandha dakhila purusharthaika ghatana swatantram te tantram kshititalamavati taradidam. Chaturshashtya tantray sakalamati sandhaya bhuvanam sthitastat siddhi prasava paratantray pashupati punastvannirbandha dakhila purusharthaika ghatana swatantram te tantram kshititalamavati taradidam. Chaturshashtya tantray sakalamati sandhaya bhuvanam sthitastat siddhi prasava paratantray pashupati punastvannirbandha dakhila purusharthaika ghatana swatantram te tantram क्षितितलमवातीतरदिदम्. Now to चतुष्षष्ट्या तन्त्रै सकलमतिसन्धाय भुवनं स्थितस्तत्तत्सिद्धे प्रसवपरतन्त्रै पशुपतिः पुनस्त्वन्निर्बन्धादखिलपुरुषार्थैकघटना स्वतन्त्रं ते तन्त्रं क्षितितलमवातीतरदिदम्. Now चतुष्षष्ट्या तन्त्रै सकलमतिसन्धाय भुवनं स्थितस्तत्तत्सिद्धे प्रसवपरतन्त्रै पशुपतिः पुनस्त्वन्निर्बन्धादखिलपुरुषार्थैकघटना स्वतन्त्रं ते तन्त्रं क्षितितलमवातीतरदिदम्. चतुष्षष्ट्या तन्त्रै सकलमतिसन्धाय भुवनं स्थितस्तत्तत्सिद्धे प्रसवपरतन्त्रै पशुपतिः पुनस्त्वन्निर्बन्धादखिलपुरुषार्थैकघटना स्वतन्त्रं ते तन्त्रं क्षितितलमवातीतरदिदम्. चतुष्षष्ट्या तन्त्रै सकलमतिसन्धाय भुवनं स्थितस्तत्तत्सिद्धे प्रसवपरतन्त्रै पशुपतिः पुनस्त्वन्निर्बन्धादखिलपुरुषार्थैकघटना स्वतन्त्रं ते तन्त्रं क्षितितलमवातीतरदिदम्. चतुष्षष्ट्या तन्त्रै सकलमतिसन्धाय भुवनं स्थितस्तत्तत्सिद्धे प्रसवपरतन्त्रै पशुपतिः पुनस्त्वन्निर्बन्धादखिलपुरुषार्थैकघटना स्वतन्त्रं ते तन्त्रं क्षितितलमवातीतरदिदम्. चतुष्षष्ट्या तन्त्रै सकलमतिसन्धाय भुवनं स्थितस्तत्तत्सिद्धे प्रसवपरतन्त्रै पशुपतिः पुनस्त्वन्निर्बन्धादखिलपुरुषार्थैकघटना स्वतन्त्रं ते तन्त्रं क्षितितलमवातीतरदिदम्. चतुष्षष्ट्या तन्त्रै सकलमतिसन्धाय भुवनं स्थितस्तत्तत्सिद्धे प्रसवपरतन्त्रै पशुपतिः पुनस्त्वन्निर्बन्धादखिलपुरुषार्थैकघटना स्वतन्त्रं ते तन्त्रं क्षितितलमवातीतरदिदम्. this. All other words support that idea in multiple ways. So the key idea is here at the leftmost branch, and all the supporting ideas for any particular main idea being conveyed. When he stayed still, why did he? For an animal comes from and everybody who is tied down, their lord. So referring to Shiva creation, all of them have that stha of creation. But states he bind sakalam bhuvanam. Stayed still. Ati sandhaya, after binding sakalam bhuvanam. Sakalam is the all of the entire bhuvanam creation. After binding all of creation, he stayed still. Binding creation with what? Tantraihi. Tantra can also mean a string or a thread or a technique also. So tantri is a word for a veena string is called as a tantri. So tantra, another word for it is a method or a practice, but another interpretation of it is a rope or a thread. So with all these ropes, he tied down, he bound all of creation. How many of such ropes were there with which he bound creation? Chatushashtihi, 64. This 64, the Chatushashti is what is colloquially again referred to as Chausat in Hindi. We know this number in Tantra Shastra from the 64 yoginis, who are very well known because of our parliament itself is said to have modeled with 64 entrance points, standing for 64 yoginis. The 64 has its significance in arts. There are 64 kinds of arts. Most people who are into the traditional arts method, they know that there are 64 colors. 64 also finds its presence in the human physiology itself. Apparently, I'm not an expert on this, but apparently there are 64 combinations in which the ACTG pairs of the DNA themselves combine with each other. And in traditional methods of healing, 64 finds its presence. So the 64 is very significant in that way. But in this particular shloka, there are 64 methods of Tantra, 64 techniques. Now there is a whole list of what these other methods of from Shambhara Tantra to different, in the commentaries that I keep telling you about, that there are 30 plus commentaries of Soundarya Lahary. Many of them list down all these 64 different methods of Tantra. But they again caution saying these are very, very worldly oriented, outward oriented. That the next word describes it. It says tat siddhi prasava paratantrai. All these tantras are very specific to delivering outward worldly results. So you want success, you want money, you want this particular position, you want your enemy to be struck down. It's very materialistic, very material oriented. So tat siddhi prasava paratantrai. Siddhi, yield or a result. Tat is that. Once again sharing its same sounds. Tat and that. The Sanskrit word for that is tat. So tat siddhi prasava is to deliver. Paratantraihi is that which is completely dedicated to it. So all these techniques, the 64 techniques that Lord Shiva has bound the entire creation by, all these methods or techniques or threads are stuck to delivering results that they correspond to in a worldly fashion. But then there is a beautiful story that goes that the father of creation did this, that he bound all of us in our physicality. But the mother of creation, Goddess Shakti, got compassionate and saw her children being stuck in this cyclical physical process again and again, and out of her compassion asked him to deliver them from their compulsive tendencies. And then apparently Shiva moved and gave one more method of realizing the self, going beyond the physical nature. That is what's explained in the second half. After staying still, binding all of creation in 64 methods of Tantra, which are very stuck in their worldly delivering of results, Punaha is once again Avatitarat. Ava plus Atitarat. It comes from the Tarana, Tripti, the same root sound, which means to cross or to move across. Ava represents a downward movement. So he delivered, he gave one more method. He brought down, where did he bring down? Idam Kshititalam. Upon this earth, he gave Tvat Nirbandhat. Tvat is your, Nirbandha is compulsion, insistence, your persistent push. So Adi Shankara is saying Tvat Nirbandhat. Because of your persistence, your insistence, O goddess, he once again brought down upon this earth Te Tantram, your technique. Te is your Tantram, a thread or a method or a technique, which is Akhila Purushartha Eka Ghatana Swatantram. Akhila, all of everything, Purusha Artha, all human pursuits, Eka Ghatana, being capable of delivering at once, Swa, of the self, Tantram, technique. Apart from the 64 processes, 64 techniques with which he bound all of physical creation, because of your compulsion, your insistence, O goddess, Shiva brought another technique of the self, realizing the self and going beyond physicality, which is capable of delivering all kinds of human pursuits. Akhila Purushartha Eka Ghatana Swatantram Yavam Tantraihi Chatushashtya Tat Siddhi Prasava Paratantraihi Chatushashtya Tantraihi Ghatana Swatantram. With this arrangement of words inside the shloka, it becomes easier for us to grasp the entire